In today's video, I'm going to be revealing the magic amount of money most Americans believe they need in order to retire based on a new survey that was just released. It's a big number. Let's get into it and talk through the details. All right, so a new survey was just released by Northwestern Mutual, and it shows on average how much Americans believe they need right now in order to retire. I would love to hear down below in the comment section. Do you want to throw a guess down there to see what do you think this number is? Again, I'll give you a couple little hints here. Number one, it's a pretty big number, okay? It's up 15% over what it was last year, and this number is actually up 53% over what it was a couple years ago back in 2020. So I'd love to hear your guesses down below if you'd like to share, but I want to get into it and share the details about this. Now, why would most people believe that they need significantly more money right now to retire over last year and just in the last few years since 2020? Again, mostly because of inflation and the rapidly rising prices of everything like shelter, food, healthcare cost, utility prices, transportation. Virtually everything is going up in price. Therefore, if anybody wants to retire, logically, theoretically, we would need more money as well to also fund our retirement. So, you ready for the number? I'm going to share with you. It's a big one, okay? So as of right now, based on this new report here and this survey, the average American believes right now they need $1,460,000 in order to retire. That's a lot of money. Nearly $1.5 million is what they would need in order to retire right now comfortably, okay? Now, obviously, there's a lot of factors about that. Number one would be, okay, at what age would somebody retire? Would this assume a retirement age of, say, 65? Could it be 70? Could it be 62? What is the average retirement age? So again, there's a bunch of different factors here. There's also a couple other factors, including where around the country is somebody living? Somebody living, say, I don't know, in the Midwest is probably going to have a lower cost of living than somebody living in maybe New York or New Jersey or, San Francisco, something like this. These very, very expensive cities that are around, coastal areas. Miami is another very expensive one, right? But anyway, let me share with you some other numbers really quickly here. So last year, 2023, the number that most Americans believe that they need in order to retire at the time last year was $1.27 million, okay? So we're up $190,000 more right now is what people believe they need to retire just over last year. So last year to this year, people believe that they need an extra $190,000. That's a lot of extra money. I'm not really sure who's going to come across an extra 190 grand in a single year, basically to retire. But again, that's what we believed last year. Now, get this, just a few years ago, back in 2020, so what, 4 years ago, right? So right now as I film this video, we're in 2024, and obviously this number will also continue to increase probably next year in 2025. But just a few years ago in 2020, this number was actually $953,000. Or sorry, $951,000, even less, right? $951,000. That's nuts. That's like, less than $1 million. Don't get me wrong. $951,000 is still a lot of money, right? I'd love to grab $951,000, right? But considering just a few years ago was $951 and now we're at $1.46 million, that's an increase of what, $509,000? More than $500,000 in just a few years is how much more we believe that we need to retire. Again, do you see the picture here? This is setting up for a very kind of tough situation for a lot of people. If this is the reality, if this is what people really, really need in order to live on and make it through retirement, that's setting a lot of people up for a really kind of disappointing retirement if that's the case, simply because at the pace that this is going up, people are not able to accumulate money at the pace that these numbers are going up. Now, again, this is just on average. One person might need $200,000 to retire. Somebody else might need 50 grand to retire based on where they're located, right? Somebody else might need $5 million to retire because they're living in a very expensive place. They have a very expensive home and cars and all the bills and stuff like that. So that's the difference, okay? Obviously, this is averaged out, and this is what the majority of people actually believe as of right now based on this survey. So, again, there's a lot of different ways that we can look at this. There's a ton, like basically infinite different avenues that we can go down to look at this, but this is what we're looking at as of right now. So, again, I just want to point this out really quickly, which is this is mostly predicated on inflation, okay? Now, again, this whole inflation situation we've been dealing with has been really, really rough. Not only that, The Federal Reserve has also been raising interest rates aggressively for call it the last year and a half or so. Well, to be fair, they've actually paused interest rates for the last, I don't know, however many meetings that they've had so far. So yes, interest rates have been paused, but they've been paused very high. Well, that also makes it very expensive. If somebody were to go out and try to get a mortgage right now on, say, just a whatever, let's just say a $500,000 house for easy math purposes, right? Somebody just goes out to get a mortgage on a $500,000 house, they're probably going to be locking in an interest rate right now, probably right around 7%. Maybe it's a little bit south of 7%. But let's just call it 7%. That's massive. That's a really high interest rate relative to where it was just a few years ago. Remember, just a couple years ago, interest rates on, say, a 30-year fixed rate mortgage was like 3%. You could even get it sub 3% in some cases a few years ago. It was not that long ago. That makes very cheap money, right? So the mortgage on a $500,000 house, again, I'm just saying 500 for example. It could be 200, it could be 100, it could be a million, it could be 5 million. It doesn't matter. But my point is, interest rates, now today sitting at 7% versus what they were a couple years ago, 3%. That makes a huge, huge, huge difference in the price of that mortgage, right? How much that person's gonna be paying every single month on that actual loan. So again, a bunch of different factors here. Not only that, food prices have gone up, utility prices have gone up, gas prices right now are still going up. In fact, we've been seeing them trending significantly higher for the last several months here, and they're getting very expensive. Not only that, healthcare costs have gone up substantially just so far this year in 2024. We've seen healthcare costs go up substantially. Well, guess what people who are retired are probably spending a bunch of money on? Yeah, healthcare costs, right? So, I mean, let's just be real for a second. There's a lot of extra money going out the door for things like this, where seniors and fixed income and retirees are spending their money. Healthcare, shelter, utility prices, food prices, things like that, right? So anyway, rough situation, but this is reality. Now again, to be 100% fair, most people are probably not ever going to have $1.46 million. So if you are below that threshold, please do not feel bad about yourself. That's a big number, and most people are not even ever going to get there. That's a ton of money to have set aside in 401ks, IRAs, savings accounts, CDs, investment, portfolios, whatever it happens to be, annuities. Again, the list goes on and on, all the different places that this could be, but that's a lot of money that the vast majority of people will not ever achieve. But again, when it comes down to it, if you ask somebody, hey, how much do you think you need to have right now in order to retire? And they say, I don't know, probably $1.46 million, I guess, right? So that's just the average going across the board, okay? So anyway, I'm not making this video to have people feel bad. I certainly don't want you to feel bad. That's a massive number, but that's just based on the current environment that we're currently in right now, and that's just what it's looking like. So anyway, just want to share this with you. I found it to be very fascinating. I like reports like this. I like surveys like this. I think it's very fascinating to see these numbers and how much they continue to go up. And kind of the beliefs of people right now. It just, kind of the wrong way, right? We should be seeing these numbers maybe increasing a little bit year over year, not 15% on 1 year, and certainly not 53% in just a few handful of years, right? That's big. So anyway, I just want to bring this to your attention really quickly. So hope this helps you. Again, as always, please leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Totally free to do so. Otherwise, go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel, including those in the video library or the ones that I've hand selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section. And also, I'm here talking about Social Security, fixed income benefits, all kinds of things going on like that every single day that do directly tie to retirees and those people that are looking at retirement relatively soon. So again, thanks for joining me. Make sure to check out the videos here on your screen as well. There'll be some videos popping up right now. Make sure to check out those videos. So make sure you take your selection now and watch that video next and enjoy your day. Take care, and I'll catch you again later in the next